about to be over. But first of all, hello. How are y'all doing? I pray that y'all day is going well. And if so, well, keep having fun and look forward to the next day. And if your day is not going well, I hope that your day gets better. And just keep moving. You got it. And something that popped into my head because I'm listening to an audiobook, right? And the word happiness and talking about it, and it just made me think of choosing peace over your happiness. You get what I mean? It sounds crazy, but maybe the two are not mutually exclusive. But a lot of people are looking for that illusion of happiness or that feeling of short term happiness as opposed to long term peace. And it's not the healthiest thing because we're looking for the next cheap thrill or pleasure or the next quick distraction. And social media can be very good for short-term happiness but not for long-term peace. Short-term happiness is that instant gratification, that quick satisfaction, and we're all victims to it. At least most of us are. And I've gotten a lot better with that over the years. I'm rarely ever on social media anymore. I've actually really dwindled my time in YouTube. Like, I really am not even on YouTube anymore like that. The only time I'm on Twitter now is just to update people on my videos and stuff, and then I'm barely on YouTube unless I'm trying to make the video and just see how my videos have progressed and see if there's anything I need to do with the way I'm doing them. But social media, in terms of the broader margin, I'm not talking about anything quite specific. I think TikTok really played a role into this. Like, I used to really be into TikTok, but that I would come to work an hour early because I used to live right across the street from my job. I would just walk in, be there an hour early, and I would just scroll TikTok mindlessly for an hour and realized that it felt like only 5 to 10 minutes went by, and that scared me after a while of doing it. I'm like, I don't want this. And plus, I'm trying to look for peace. I used to just want to be happy. I thought I could find that in people and find my self-worth in everything outside of the self for some reason. And then I came to realize that's not the right way to go about my life. I realized that I need to look inward. And I've always been an introspective person, but I've always been afraid to be whenever I did it. I was afraid of my innermost thoughts. I was afraid of the thoughts that I had because I was always beating myself up and I was trying to run away from that. And I thought other people could make me happy. I thought getting this thing, having a lot of friends would make me happy. And right now, God only blessed me with a few. I thought that I would have a big, happy family and that would make me happy. But right now, my family is out doing their own stuff and we're all kind of split up, trying to do our own thing. And it's kind of like everything I thought would make me happy, I either didn't get it because it really wouldn't make me happy, and that conflict made me stronger as I evolved, or I got it and then realized that I didn't understand what I was asking for and praying for, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for that. And that on its own is a very hard pill to swallow, is admitting when you're not ready for something even though you want it badly. But when you want something, you just want it. You just want it. But the thing is what you want good for you for the long term? Is it good for you going forward? And a lot of the time, what we want is not good for us or the best thing for us. And sorry, I keep looking away, by the way. It's just what I do to think. But yeah, short-term happiness is just not good. What we want in the moment, usually, most of the time, isn't what we need. Sometimes when we want to get out of a situation, sometimes it's good to sit back and be like, I want to get out of here, but let me figure myself out in the situation. Why am I reacting like this? What's fueling this desire to want to get out? What truth am I running away from? What do I need? What dragon or demon do I need to face within myself in order to get over this hurdle so I can keep going head on. That way, I don't have anything to regret. Because when you regret things, it's a lot of the time, a good amount of the time, people can want something right away and that take in that short-term happiness and then ended up coming to regret it because they wasted their time or they procrastinated, they put too much time into a person that they thought they would make them happy. But sometimes, like life, everything can be a slow burn, and that doesn't always mean it's boring. It doesn't always mean that it's defective or it isn't serving you just because it isn't serving you in that moment. Sometimes it takes time for things to be revealed to you. It takes time for your purpose or your reason for living to be revealed to you. It takes a lot to be revealed to you. Sometimes what you desire, you may not be ready for right away, but it'll eventually come to you. But you need to approach that point by working on yourself and working on your environment and the culture that you create around yourself. And that will create long-term peace when you make sure that you take the measures to protect yourself and the people that you trust and the environment that you create for yourself. That is peace. That's why I separate happiness and peace, because you can find true happiness in peace. But when I say happiness in this context, don't go looking for short-term happiness where, like, oh, let me just go to this party and then you wake up with a nasty hangover. I live my life constantly thinking about the consequence of every potential action that I want to take. And that's why I don't really get myself into trouble. I'm naturally like to myself, to my friends, to people I really care about. And when I care about people, I care about people deeply. But I used to be a person where I used to give away my heart to people who could care less and who just weren't concerned with me and that didn't even give me the time of day. And then I had to callous myself and go through it the hard way, because that's just how I am. I'm hard-headed, I'm stubborn, I get it from my mama. But I had to realize that that short-term happiness I was looking for wasn't bringing me peace. As a matter of fact, it was bringing me the total opposite. I was constantly in turmoil, comparing myself to other people. And then when I felt like I've got this advantage, I'm better than you, just because of my insecurity and my, desire to not be alone. But in that desire to not be alone, I surrounded myself with people that didn't think like me, and that was lonely. And that short-term happiness wasn't long-term peace. So I sacrificed peace for happiness. And you don't ever want to do that, because you think you'll be happy surrounding yourself with a person or an object or a thing or a energy, a philosophy, a way of life, an old idea, but it's slowly killing you and it's not bringing you peace. So the best thing you can do is pull back, reevaluate your situation or situations, plural, and really ask yourself, is this meant for me? Is this logically because what I got to break down the situation. If I keep doing this and I know what I don't like, and yet I keep putting myself in this situation, or I keep getting dragged in this situation, what steps okay, let me figure out, okay, then that means you start out with, okay, what shouldn't you do? What do you need to remove yourself away from? And then when you figure that out, you can gravitate towards the opposite, to the things that'll make you feel whole, things that'll bring you purpose, that'll bring you true peace and joy, and you won't feel like you're hating yourself or you're hating others. And that ties into my last video. Be kind to yourself, because it's easier to have faith. It's easier. It'll be more peaceful, more quiet, less noise when you are kind to yourself. So don't go for short-term happiness, because you're going to end up like a lot of the people around you. But if you want to stand out, look at what they're doing and what are you doing. And if you're doing the same thing as them and you see that you suck, like, as in not you, but like you feel like you suck, you feel horrible about yourself, you have to change your ways. You got to completely rewire the way that you're thinking, and it's got to be a daily process. You got to figure it out, whatever that is, because I don't know who you are, but you know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, well, figure out, you got to set out, what do you value? What do you cherish most in this life? Is it honesty? bravery, love. Like, what do you value? What are your philosophies? What are your boundaries? What are your, because then that helps you create a standard for yourself that you will eventually hold other people to. And if they can't meet it, it can't be unrealistic. It has to be within reason. But if they can't follow it, then you have to let them go their own way. And you don't curse them, you don't disrespect them, you just let them go their own way. They're not ready for you, whatever it is you've got to offer. And whenever they are, that's when you can open your arms if you choose to. But let's stop choosing short-term happiness over our long-term peace. We struggle now, but you'll come out on top eventually if you stay the path. You're trying to be a good kid and everyone, or a good person, a good adult, a good responsible human being, and you see that almost everyone around you isn't. Give it time, work on yourself, and just work on removing yourself, because eventually you will find yourself around people that are good and responsible human beings. And you will find that you are not alone. I'm not alone. I've got a whole team. I've got my twin brother, I got my best friend, I got my other best friend, and we're all very similar. We have the same thoughts on just staying to ourselves and not trying to be in all that, mixing ourselves up with any gangs, or just not that I'm crapping on those people, but I'm just saying, like, we're just staying out of trouble. We're staying off the streets. And not a lot of people have the opportunity or the resources or the know-how or the people in their space that will allow them and give them the reason or inspiration to do that. But standing out is not a problem. It's okay. Choosing your peace over short-term happiness that everyone else goes for is okay. It's okay to be at peace, to choose to want peace, even if you gotta sacrifice a little bit to get it. But for whatever it is you want, there's always a price to pay. But it's a matter of which price do you pay. Do you choose short-term happiness over a life? Like, do you choose short-term happiness, which typically brings about a life of displeasure, misfortune, and misery for the rest of your life, and regret and guilt and shame for yourself and unnecessary beating up of yourself? Or will you choose the price of sacrificing that short-term happiness so that way you can become bigger than yourself, transform yourself, be somebody that can be a productive and contributor, human being to the community around you and to yourself and to your team and whatever it is you got going on in your dreams and your purpose? Which price are you going to pay? I choose the latter personally every time. I wasn't always like that, but it took me becoming an adult at 18 and having to provide for a family that taught me what I really want to do, who I've always wanted to be: a provider, a server, a healer, a bridger of gaps and bringing people together. And that's what these videos are for. I'm trying to bring everybody together, those who feel that way and those who understand what it's like to feel that way. So let's choose our peace over short-term happiness, or peace over just the illusion of happiness. Let's do that. Have a beautiful, beautiful evening.